when you lose a child, people look at you and say, oh, you're so strong. But what they don't see is that the strength is actually exhaustion.
Our innate default is self-destruction when you have that much anger and animosity and confusion. And,
sure, because you get
all
angry.
These things, because you get angry.
When you go through that kind of loss and trauma, you just become a different person. Not that it gets lighter, because grief never gets smaller. You just learn to grow around it.
Hi, Jane.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
We met at Type Med, right?
Yeah. Shout out Darcy.
I know it's and I was excited that I heard you doing podcasts. I was excited to talk to you about my new mission in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in this area, and I actually have been married for 21 years. Okay. My husband's a physician, and I have 2 boys. I still say I have 2 boys. Mm-hmm. So one here on earth and one who lives deeply in my heart. Mm-hmm. So my life has really changed after I lost my son 8 years ago. And I was practicing dentist at the time. And I loved being a dentist. Like, that was part of who I was. Mm-hmm. But when my son passed away, that alignment wasn't there anymore for me. I love serving my community, but when you go through that kind of loss and trauma, you just become a different person. And then you realize that priorities in life change. I'm not going to lay in my death wishing that I had done one more root canal at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided that I needed to be present for my remaining son, mm-hmm. because, he's 13. He might be home 5 more years, and then he's gone off to college. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to treasure every moment that I had with him, even though, being a teenager, now he just comes out when he's hungry.
Yeah.
But it just makes you look at life in a different way.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that before we kind of kicked on the cameras and stuff. Going through, I think life is about becoming, transforming through experience and challenges. And you were talking about shaping, you just becoming a different person after that moment. Like, how did you become a different person? Like, how did you perceive?
I think I didn't understand the grief, right? Because when you lose a child, people look at you and say, oh, you're so strong. But what they don't see is that the strength is actually exhaustion. Mm-hmm. They don't see that the days when you're on the bathroom floor crying, mm-hmm. And sobbing, they don't see that when you're laughing, there's also ache with it. So you're always carrying that grief and love together. Mm-hmm. And those are very bittersweet. I wish I knew what my life was like before that, because now those 2 things are always coexisting. Mm-hmm. So when my son had a birthday party and I saw he had so many friends, I was so happy, right, to see that he's well-adjusted, he's popular. But then I realized there's one person missing during that party. And it always hits you really hard at those milestones that my other son isn't there, you know. But, you learn to carry that. Like, it's a load that you carry. But not that it gets lighter, because grief never gets smaller. You just learn to grow around it. Mm-hmm. You get bigger. So that's why I decided to form my Healing Hearts community. Mm-hmm. And I've invited parents to come join me in that community, because I think as humans, we always crave for that connection. That's just natural. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing this journey alone, it's incredibly lonely. Yeah. I always thought, oh my gosh, this is so lonely. The loneliness is going to kill me.
And that's, I think, the biggest problem with even problems that people face at a much more minor scale than this problem would be the fact that they have to do it alone. And that's where this like psychological kind of condition consumes people. It's like, it's hurt me in the past of like, I have certain things that I'm confused about and I don't know what direction to go in, but you don't reach out and you don't build a community and a network and just don't know where to go to look for answers.
I think grief isn't just about being sad. Yeah. It's so much more than that. It's I grieved who I was before my loss. I grieved for all the friends I lost because they couldn't understand me. But it was also unfair in a way because I'm asking for directions from people who've never left their home.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
they haven't lost a child. They don't know what I'm going through. I don't think it's because they're being cruel. People are not being cruel. It's just that they don't know what to say. But when they don't know what to say and they avoid you, it's hurtful too, because then you feel the abandonment.
Yeah. But also like that is such a heavy weight to look at somebody else and go, I don't have that level of perspective. Like there's no words that I could say that would give any sort of grace. I mean, you could give grace, you could give kind, compassionate words, but at the end of the day, like you're looking for something helpful and you feel helpless in that situation. Yeah. And so I think it helps, like what you're doing is solidifying yourself as a place where people can come who have that same exact experience and you guys can so share. I think just my history of, building a dental practice, like, being structured, getting through school, I think the discipline and the structure really helped me build a community, because ultimately when you have that structure, it gives a safety net for people. And to me, that is giving back with compassion. Because when you know that you're reliable and people can trust you and you know that space is always going to be available, I mean, that is really, making an impact for people who don't have anywhere to go. Because to me, ultimately, grief is love, right? At the end of the day. And it didn't have a place to go. Like I needed to give it a home. You needed an outlet. Yeah.
And so I wanted to, so I always say grief, I had all this love and I had nowhere to put it. So I give it a home, which is the community that I formed, Healing Hearts. And now we have we meet like twice a month. And, we have all kind of things like planned for the parents. And, it's not just a sad place, but it's a place where we feel like we don't have to say anything. There's an immediate understanding. There's an immediate bond. It's where we carry that load together now. And that's as close as you are going to get to healing when you have this, because you have that hope. Like people come into the group, it's kind of like exercising. Like I hate exercising, but I do bar like 5 days a week. And I sit in my car and thinking, I don't want to go in. Like, this is going to be, crappy, right?
Yeah.
But
this
then
is going to suck.
It's going to suck, But I mean, maybe some people love it, but I don't. But I tell myself, okay, I'm going to get this done because you know what? There's a reward waiting for me. There's a treat, which is I'm going to feel amazing when I'm done, right? And so I always think with this kind of meeting, it also sets that discipline for the parents. They want to better themselves. They want to be able to move on in a healthy way, right? I mean, you never quite move on, but it's like understanding that the grief isn't just being sad. Like it's love for your child. You're so deeply woven in, right? Like your child is deeply woven into you. It's part of you. It's an extension of you. But in that room, all of our children are alive.
Well, you just said it right now. It's moving on in a healthy way. And I think in any decisions that you decide to make in life, it splinters off into these various possibilities of where you can go and where you could put your energy to then shift and mold and become a new person. And I think our innate default is self-destruction when you have that much anger and animosity and confusion and
because you get
all
angry.
These things, because you get angry. You go, why God?
Me?
Why
like,
me?
Why me?
Yeah.
Like why me? So when the parents come into the meeting, it's meaningful. I have a structured meeting because I'm a very disciplined, structured person. And I want them to leave with a reward at the end, which is hope.
Yeah.
It's that light.
Yeah.
Because to me, the grief game is a long game. It's about endurance. And I look at endurance like it's a candlelight, right? You don't want to be the brightest candle burning. That's not the point. The point is how long is that candle going to burn for?
Sustainability.
Yeah. And when you light that candle, the next person's going to light it. And the next person's going to light it. And the room is filled with candles. And you just burn for a really long time together. And you bring that hope and light into that community. It's really a beautiful thing. I have a candlelight service before we start.
Oh, wow.
So, and I play my violin.
Yeah, I saw that. You're really good at that.
Yeah,
You're
so I play my, because I was a classical violinist.
Of course you were.
So, yeah, I guess they call me the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
But I had to evolve because, I had a beautiful life. I truly did. And I think I still have a beautiful life. And I wanted to survive. I wanted to live. And I still have the drive to live. And I want my parents to live. Because statistically, when this happens, I have known parents who have taken their lives because it's so painful. And, it could be a lifeline. So if I can train one parent to become leaders in their community and start something like this, then they can be lifeline for the next person. So I feel like it's really, this work is very important.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think the scope and scale of, like we were talking about before, how far you go in hell is how sweet heaven will then taste. And I think that most of us go through things in life that are not to this scale, but they really test you and they really put you in a dark place. And then when you climb out of that, you have so much more perspective. You change into a new person. You become this version of yourself that says, oh, I've seen how dark it can get, and I've also overcome that darkness. You got a one-way ticket to the bottom of the deepest depths of hell.
I did.
Yet still have the understanding of, how do I crawl out of this? Because there's only one or two options. I'm going to crawl out, or I'm going to let it consume me. And
you always have a choice, right?
Yeah.
And, for me, it wasn't even a choice because, again, it wasn't about me being strong. I didn't have a choice. What's the other option, right?
Yeah.
I still had a husband to take care of. I still have another child. And I also have like this huge cultural burden where my parents don't want to even hear it, right? Asian culture is like that too. It's very stoic, but also emotion. It's been 8 years. They think that you should be over it. But honestly, I think that when I meet people, I feel like there's a lack of understanding. Grief isn't the problem. It's when people think that you need to fix it. It's not something to be fixed.
Okay.
Grief is love. Like, why would you want to fix the love that you had for your child?
That's a great way to put it.
Right? Yeah. I feel like that, when you have that love, you're just carrying that love, and it's not going to go away until the day I die, until I rejoin my child.
Well, it goes the same way. Like, if your parents died, you would want to carry around that love and appreciation, and it would come in the form of grief too. But that's memory, really, is what it is I want to live knowing that when I walk through life, I see you. I see the way you would interact or inject yourself into this situation throughout life. And that may make me sad because you're not here anymore, but also it comes from a place of ultimate love. And I think that's important for people to know, is that you're carrying them on through your grief or through your love, which is really important. So what are some of the stories that, what are you looking for when you're trying to go throughout life and adapt out of these, I guess, mental cycles, mental loops? Because I'm sure it had to be just a whirlwind of just like continuous mental loops over and over and over again, just confusion.
And I think it's that's why when I stopped being a doctor, I actually started investing. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because the stock market was a mirror image of my grief. I know it's kind of weird.
You got to explain that.
Yeah. So the market is always volatile, right? It has the highs and downs. And, my grief was like that. It was unpredictable. I had no control over it. When it would come in, the highs, like I had my good days. And then I would have the days like I'm so low, right? Like that's when like market's tanking, like, oh shoot, like, you're losing like so much money, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like a roller coaster ride constantly, right? There's the volatility. And I thought, that really interested me because I saw the psychology of it, like the optimism, the greed, the fear, and you have all of that with grief too. So that's when I, started to really understand the cycle of the market, and I just put all of my energy into that. And so I ended up building like a 7-figure portfolio out of it.
Wow. Yeah.
So because, I had the time, like I had retired from dentistry, and I had no other place to put my energy, right? And then I think that discipline, and that was the thing too, it was endurance. It was just being patient. And grief is like that too. You have to endure through it, and you have to have the patience to come out on the other end. Because it's messy. It's not a straight line. It's just like a big tangle of, yarn.
Which I'd imagine is very difficult for you, because you were saying that you're a very analytical person.
Yes.
And you're a very structured person.
Yes.
And so when chaos
Yes, and
takes
I had
place.
I had to like reorganize everything, right? Because I went from being a doctor and now I became this investor, and then now I'm a nonprofit founder, right? But I think all the skills that I had, it kind of built on top of one another to make me become who I am. Because when you're forming a community like this, like you cannot be disorganized. Like you have to be someone who's gonna show up for your people, even if it's inconvenient for you.
Yeah.
You know, because you want to build that trust and the credibility.
And it's funny too, because I'm assuming that this trajectory of life, obviously post your child passing, was not planned. You know,
No.
you would seem that it seemingly you were going to, you know, be a dentist forever.
I thought I was going to be building like multiple dental offices and I was going to have this huge empire.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was going to be doing, you know, nonprofit, you know, building communities for parents.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to eventually scale this into other communities. And I'm working on a facilitation manual now because I understand how the meeting should be carried out. And if it's repeatable, then we can also bring this into other communities and they can have something like this, because it's such an underserved, you know, like people are just really underserved when it comes to this, because mainly people just don't understand the grief. It's uncomfortable, you know?
And they don't have, I feel like you're a problem solver. And so you find a way to look at this situation and go, okay, I know I'm not alone in this. And I know I need an outlet to talk to other people who are just like this. Where is that? And you found that there isn't much of that. So you solved that problem. And I think that's huge, because that area, and just like any area of business, like people need people just like you to take the mantle in that situation. Yeah.
So it was interesting because when I was building this, I ran into some struggles. Number one was I had a meeting space and then it got taken away because they said, oh, you don't have insurance. So I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, so I have all these parents that are depending on me to, you know, provide that space for them, and suddenly I don't have a place to go. And so I thought, okay, what's the next thing to do, right? Because I'm always looking at the solution part of it.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I have a beautiful house and a big living room. So
what's the problem with that?
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm going to invite all the parents into my house. So, you know, we've been carrying the meeting out of my house, and it's been wonderful because I like to cook. So, you know, when they come for Thursday nights, I have dinner for them. You know, so it's very communal, right?
Yeah.
And it's even worked out even better. So the problem became a really good solution for me.
And what people don't recognize too is through trial and hardship and pain, you find community and realize that the way you were living before your pain might not have been the right way to be living, because you realize that I meet with people and I sit down for meals with however many people are gathering here today, and we have this grieving process, and we communicate and share laughs and share stories and do all these things, and you go, that is actually how I want to live life. I don't even know if I would have lived that kind of life if I didn't go through this.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think there's that level of understanding is a great way and a great perspective to go.
It is, because I
forward,
think now when some of the problems arise, I think about, man, it can't be as bad as the day when my son died, right? Because my son was almost 5 months. He died in a daycare. And, you know, people don't expect that because they think daycare is supposed to be a safe place. But, you know, your life changes in an instant second. I was having like a normal day. In fact, I had hosted like a Christmas brunch for my girlfriends, and I get a call from daycare out of nowhere saying he stopped breathing. So, you know, I watched him die in the emergency room that day.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was like so traumatic. But, you know, when you're down on your hands and knees, like, you know, begging the doctors to save your son's life, I mean, you know, at that moment, like your life is not the same anymore, right? Because now you're walking out of the hospital with part of you gone. It's like an amputation, like my leg is gone, you know? So when I think about that day, I think about nothing can top that day. Yeah. You know, it puts a lot of things in perspective, but also just having this community. What's interesting is I'm friends with people I never thought I would be friends with. Yeah. Because, you know, when you're in that grief, when you have that grief group, grief doesn't care if you're rich, poor, or you're black or white. You know, we share the same thing. We don't have our children with us, you know?
Yeah. You share perspective. And that's what I'm really realizing is I had I had a meeting at Porsche Design Studios in Portland, and I was supposed to meet with some other guys. I ended up meeting with someone who's more of on this creative side. He really wasn't the person I should have been talking to, but him and I sat down and we just were conversing, and he was talking to me about his life and you know, he's from Germany. He worked for, you know, major companies and, struck deals over $50 million contracts and was just doing all these things. And when it boiled down to it, him and I were almost saying verbatim, word for word, our mindset, trajectory, path in life, everything. And it really made me understand, like, I'm not, that the distinction never is money, or it's not position.
Well, you had shared values.
We had shared values, and we had shared, the way I looked at him is the way that he looked at me. And I knew that I was looking at myself. You know,
it's like a mirror image.
It was a mirror image, and it was the most odd thing that I've experienced in a long time. And it really brought into perspective, like, people are people, and you just have to connect. You have to connect.
You know what, though? It's funny because I didn't wake up thinking I needed this tragedy to happen to me so I can feel the deeper meaning of life, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't need my child to die to reach that, right? Mm-hmm. And then I realized that even the greatest mind cannot stop a bleeding heart. Mm. You know what? Only thing that can touch that is love, hope, and faith. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing that can touch that. And that's actually kind of biblical when you think about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like having that hope for the community is so important.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And just to inject yourself into the community and show, like, that takes a lot of effort. At the end of the day, like, we're all doing what we need to do to survive. We're all, like, trying to better ourselves and do all these things. But when you can step outside of that and really focus and put your attention on others, in that level of detail is extraordinarily impressive. And that's something that I'm, like, even just through this is like me doing a feeler for just trying to get out in the community, just trying to talk to people and understand people's lives and trajectories and perspectives, and, like, really understand people and put myself out there, because I feel like I've just been so shelled off, and the world feels so shelled off that it's not going to change. It can feel
isolating, because I feel like you just always want to make connection with people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, just that loneliness, right? We're all so busy day to day. But do you ever notice, like, when you're so busy, you're still lonely?
Yeah.
You know? Because you crave that connection.
Yeah.
You know?
And you realize that my greatest memories in life are obviously with others, but it's sharing experiences with others. Like, I've made money by myself. I've made $1, I've made 1,000, I've made 10,000. You know, it's like, it's just that at the end of the day. It's just an ability to position yourself a little bit differently, but position yourself for what? For experience, for gaining new experiences that help you evolve and adapt to become that next person, so that when you are raising your kids, or when you are talking to somebody who is in a difficult position or in a position where they're challenging themselves, you have some insight and something to give them.
Yeah, I think that another thing is, you know, I was successful, right? Like, mm-hmm. I have achieved a lot of things in my life, mm-hmm. but there was one thing that I felt was missing. It was the feeling of emptiness. You know, I mean, I had all this money, I had a comfortable life, but then I felt like after I lost my son, what did any of those things matter? Yeah. They're just materialistic stuff, right? Yeah. So that's why I went to go seek out a community, because it gave me a purpose, a meaning. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have meaning, you suffer. Yeah. And I don't like to have pointless suffering.
I think that's the vast majority of people right now, though, is suffering without even understanding that they're suffering. Yeah, they don't know why they're suffering, because, but I mean, that's for me included. Like, I don't have a community, but I actively understand through talking to people that I do need that, and that is a direction that I'm heading in. But for years, it's been, I need to work harder. I need to be more disciplined. I need to just evolve myself in every facet, and then I'll attain all the emotions and the feelings and the wealth and the, you know, everything that would transpire from all those actions. And that's what makes it so sad, is that there would be I mean, months on end where I'm like waking up 5 a.m., you hit the gym, structured discipline,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
building the business,
Yes.
evolving my video capabilities and techniques, and doing all these things, you know, like focusing on my relationship and certain avenues, but not really being present.
Yeah.
You know,
when
just
you're
like
not present.
doing tasks.
Because you just had to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that felt so robotic for me. For me, it was like when I found meaning through forming this nonprofit, like giving the parents a space, and I saw the transformation that was happening, you know, among the parents that were coming into my meeting, that to me, that was it touched me very deeply. I didn't feel so empty anymore because I knew that my son didn't just die with nothing, right? He actually created something out of his death, something beautiful, a legacy, right? Because now he's giving people a space to grieve and to celebrate their children. Because to me, you don't always have to connect in pain. You can connect through love.
Yeah, and it's almost like planting a tree. It is your son planted a tree.
Yes.
And you wanted him to go out and live in the world, but he went in the ground and was planted, and you sit there and you go, why? And then all of a sudden the tree blooms and blossoms and fruits and all these branches stem from it, and you go, oh, it's not just you. Like, it's not just for me and you. This is for
everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah.
This is much more than just what I thought it could always be, which is you are my son and I'll raise you and you're going to live a beautiful life.
Because I always envision if I were to meet him one day, because I do envision a future with him one day. And if I saw him again, I would say, I loved you all my life. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But I would say that I loved you all my life and I lived my best life. And the way how I did it was to honor you by forming this community and giving service to other people.
And I don't think there's a better way that you could honor him. I don't think if you live with that depth, if you live with that passion and you wake up every day feeling that pain and feeling that grief, feeling that love, and you act on it with intention and go, I'm going to take what I feel and use it. I'm going to help. I'm going to try. I'm going to do, because if I die today, all this is for my son. This is why I do it.
Yes.
Like, yes, it is personal growth. Yes, it is development. Yes, it is communication and connection. Yes, I am trying to evolve myself. But at the end of the day, if someone hits me, I want my son to look at the actions that I took and said, he tried. He lived for something greater than himself is what I want. And that's what you're doing.
But isn't that funny? Like when you become a parent, you know, you're so vulnerable, right? That's like your heart walking outside. But now everything you're building for your children.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the legacy that you're living an example, right? I know that my son is going to be a great man. My son, James, who's 13, because we try to live, you know, by example. You know, I try to live with integrity because I want to be the same person I am inside as well as outside. And I feel that people don't become leaders by choice. We become leaders because we suffered. And that's what lead us to this path.
And that's why it's not a chosen path.
No, it's not.
It's not like, and you don't want to, like, if you had the choice, you don't want to be a leader.
No.
You don't want to be a business owner. You don't want the responsibility of knowing that you're at the helm of whatever it is you're at the helm of. It's pain, it's suffering, it's agony, it's people looking up to you and asking questions and you guiding people when you don't even have the like emotion of like guiding people or you don't have the understanding of even how to do it. But something in you is innately there that allows you to do that for others.
I think it's the love that I carry because I asked, what am I supposed to do I asked God, I said, what am I supposed to do now my son is gone? Because that was my light, right? And I realized he was telling me, then you carry that light in your heart. You carry it with you. And for me, I felt like it clicked one night when I was my phone dinged and I looked at my text, and it was from one of my parents in the group, and she said, you know, Jane, every time my mind wanders to Natalie and how she died, you know, I would get so depressed. But then when I think about you, then it brings joy into my life. So then I knew that I had made an impact in that person's life, right? Because she's not just constantly thinking about, you know, the sad part of it, right? But I also realized I can't be the only pillar or the light. You know, I needed to form a structure so that way the other parents can rely on that fundamental, the base, you know, the what I'm building, so that if I'm not there, they can still carry on without me, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's legacy.
Yes.
You know, that's the legacy of maybe not even for you, but the community. It's something greater than yourself.
Yeah. I'm really excited because, you know, this is a club that I don't want anyone to belong to, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it truly is a beautiful club. I mean, it is made up of, like, seriously, like, these mothers are like angels. And, you know, unfortunately, we don't have too many men, because I feel like men are very, like, closed off still in our society. You know, they're expected to be strong and, you know, to not show their emotion, right? So I feel like we have we don't have as many men in the group, but of course, you know, fathers are welcome too, because they don't grieve any less. What I did notice when I was on my grief journey, I felt very lonely, even with my spouse being there, because our grief was very different. It's like no two snowflakes are the same, right?
Yeah.
And everybody grieves in such a different way. The only thing that we really had in common was the shared experience. But even that helps. But this is why a lot of marriages don't work out after they lose a child, because each spouse goes on a separate journey, unfortunately. But we're one of the lucky ones, like, where, you know, we've become even closer, actually.
Yeah.
You know,
I think there's only one or two paths in that regard.
Either you go separately,
or
you
come together.
But then I looked at my husband and I realized that he was half of my child. You know, I mean, he's the only one that's going to understand what we had lost, right? So I feel like I bonded even closer to him because of that loss and that experience.
Do you feel like do you laugh more? Are you more intentional?
Yes.
I feel like
I feel the joy so much deeper now.
Yes.
Than ever. Like, I feel the intense sadness too, but now when I'm really happy, I don't take that for granted, because, you know why? I don't know if tomorrow that joy can come again.
And we were talking about this a little bit before, but I've lost friends in sort of the high school area of my life. And during that time, it helped me understand just how instantaneously things can switch, and how someone you really care about can really just be wiped off the face of the earth immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And I started, like, understanding how to be happy, like, and really be full of life, because I'm like, if I'm going to go, and I'm just looking at him and I go, oh, dang, if that's me, then everything that I do is a memory for somebody else.
Yeah.
And if that's going to be the case, I'm going to be as happy as possible. I'm going to be as lax and whimsical and philosophical, and I'm going to try, and I'm going to do, you know?
That's why I tell all of my friends I love them whenever I talk to them, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, I know that so well, that tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate truth that helps you live realistically, it's a better life. It's sad, but it is a better life. It's better that you know the depth of pain to then know the depth of joy and love that you can give someone else. It's better to suffer and crawl out of it and change other people's perspective on the everyday and the decisions that they can make, and how to influence somebody, and realizing that I'm doing this because of this weight that I carry. I'm doing this because of the suffering that I've had. I have something to give here, you know. But
you also don't realize your own fragility of life until you've encountered it.
Yeah.
I think that's why when you saw your friend die like that, and you had just seen him and then he was gone, then you realize, oh my gosh, like, our life is really fragile. it can change in a split second, right? And I think that's why some people avoid parents like us, because that raw honesty, that brutal sadness that sometimes you see, it's like it makes people uncomfortable, because number one, it confronts your own fragility, and our society isn't comfortable with truth. They're just wanting the comfortable part of it, right? But the fact is, when you live, like, you are going to have loss that compounds on top of a loss. All of us are going to lose our parents at some point. I mean, if we're lucky enough, we'll go before our kids. And it's very unnatural for your child to go before you.
Oh, absolutely.
So
how do you navigate truth, raw honesty throughout, walking in society with people who, obviously, a lot of people haven't gone what you go through, and a lot of people aren't honest, and a lot of people are very surface level, and that's just known. It's hi, how are you? I'm good. And you just walk away, but how do you deal with like injecting depth into people who are asleep almost?
I think if they can just say, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here to listen. And I'm here to just sit and cry with you. I think if they can show that compassion, that's sometimes all we want. We don't want a silver lining. We don't want people to say, well, things happen for a reason. We just want someone to sit with us and say, I'm sorry for your pain. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here for you.
Have you found yourself affecting other people that haven't gone through the depth of pain that you've gone through?
I think so, because I think, people, look at that and think, oh, I don't want that to ever happen to me. But I think when they are educated, you talk about it, you have an open, honest conversation. I think it opens people's minds. Then they see a different perspective of death. Yeah.
And it's hard to articulate that. It's hard to really put that into words for people who have never experienced that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And grief isn't a competition either. I mean,
no,
I had a friend who lost her dog recently, and she was super sad. And she said, I'm so sorry. I know it's not the same as losing your child, but her love was valid. I mean,
it's very valid.
Yeah.
When I lose my dog, it's going to be very...
I have my dogs
valid.
too.
Yeah.
And my dog recently ate my socks. So, I mean, he almost died, and I had to spend like $10,000 to save his life. And the vet bill was like $10,000. I was like, holy crap, right?
Yeah.
But, I realized, okay, but I bought more time with him, right? At least I was able to buy more time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like when you lose something, whether it's a dog or somebody, that grief is valid because you loved something. You love somebody. And I think to witness that is really important. And witnessing somebody's pain is like validating, like, yes, you matter. Like your pain matters. I think that's what we're really looking for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just hard for people are just competitive in a lot of ways, innately competitive. And they either don't want to share because they don't want to feel like they don't want to hear someone else's.
Vulnerable, or they don't want to look weak.
Yeah. They don't want to look weak or vulnerable. But then also I see this a lot where you share something and then someone goes, oh yeah, well, I'm going through this.
Yeah, it's competition now, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I'm just here to talk, man. I'm just here to, and so I feel like I've always been really good at this, but lately I've been trying to develop listening so much more, like really listening when I'm engaged in conversation, just letting people vent about whatever it is, because they don't get that opportunity a lot. You could tell it's.
Yeah, I think we don't listen. And the only way how we're going to change our society is if we truly start to listen. And we can all become better listeners, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a skill though. It's very much so a skill, just like communication is a skill. Knowing when to talk and how to make your words land and all this stuff. That's something I'm learning right now. And I'm like, oh, there's a reason why.
Well, how you say it matters,
right?
Yeah,
how you say it matters.
Yeah.
If Martin Luther King was stumbling and fumbling on his speeches, it wouldn't hit the same,
Right,
so that's a different avenue of life that I'm really learning right now. What are your goals for, what do you see your trajectory in life going on from here? Because I feel like you had your accomplishment, you had your absolute fall and rebirth.
Yes.
And then now you're at a point, seems like you have a lot of clarity and a lot of motivation. What is forward?
Well, I mean, you know that I'm in a pageant, right?
Yes,
And I used to think that pageantry was really shallow and it was just about beauty. But no, I actually learned a lot. Like it's made me really grow. And it's not about status. It's really about getting the title to open doors for you. It's trying to form a partnership, because when you do have a title, it's like holding a big microphone to say, you know, listen to my cause, right? It's like trying to have this subgroup of community of people that are not seen or heard suddenly being seen and heard. So, you know, that's really my reasoning for wanting to be in a pageant, was to bring this platform, because it's not just for me, it's for a group of people, you know, I feel that needs that support and to expand the reach out into the community.
Nice.
So I am excited because I am planning like a 6-month tour right now and taking my group into rural communities and giving out a meeting and putting a facilitation manual out there. So if somebody wants to start the meeting, they can do it.
They can use that format.
Yes, exactly. Because, you know, I'm very structured, I'm very disciplined, and I like to build. And in my brain, I'm already having like blueprint of how this is going to work out. So.
And that's another element that has been so profound to me lately is you listen to all these books, you read all these books, you listen to all these podcasts, and I feel like we're getting so much information overload that I actually don't learn anything. After a whole day, I'm like, I didn't even learn anything today. And I was like consumed on my phone, just trying to absorb information.
But I'm also on Instagram all the time, which is such a waste of time.
Yeah, me too. And so, what I constantly heard from the people, the creators that I appreciated and admire, is that they always have a framework and a format, and they follow this structure. And that
like
never
a recipe.
That never clicked to me.
Yeah,
just like a recipe.
Yeah.
And I started using that recently in my life, especially in business, is really helping, because you just have so much clarity in life. And I think we've kind of gotten hypnotized to follow these structures, like wake up every morning and, you know, take your vitamins and work out and do all these things. And yes, that is true. And that is the way you should do things. But there is also this natural flow to life that you have to move like water. You got to be powerful, but you also got to
I can't, you know, like I can't get everything done sometimes. We all get like the same 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's days like I fail miserably, but you know, you just have to give yourself grace, because there's some days, I'm going to be honest with you, like I don't want to get out of bed or brush my teeth. Yeah. You know, I just want to lay in bed and like not do anything, right? Then you should just let yourself do that, because sometimes you need that recharge to go, because I can't just go like go all the time, because I have that personality where I never sit around. I'm always doing something, right? And because I have a very ambitious goal right now. I want to reach like 1 million parents. Okay. But you know, you're not going to reach 1 million overnight. You have to scale it, right? Yeah. So it's going to start with like one community at a time, getting like 1,000 parents to reach 1,000 parents to know that the meeting is there. Because everyone's in a different grief timeline too. I mean, if 10 people show up, it's because they're ready to show up. There could be like 1,000 people that's out there that know about it, but they're not willing to come in. Because I didn't go to my first meeting until 8 years after my son's death. And that was my first one I formed. Whoa. So, yeah.
What's your sort of game plan to reach that 1 million? Because I know you got to take it city by city or. Yeah,
so I wanted to do like a 6-month, you know, tour actually with a couple of the leaders in my group, because I thought it would be bonding and it would be really fun too. So we wanted to hit like the rural cities like Spokane or like Yakima and reach out to the faith community. Based. Yeah, Washington based, and then kind of show a meeting, like do a meeting. So you do one and somebody else knows how that's carried out. And you bring like a facilitation manual. Because when I started, I had no idea how the meeting was even supposed to be structured or what we're supposed to even talk about, right? But now that I've done it for almost a year, I'm like, oh, this is how it works. Yeah. And then when you have a repeatable event that you build, then it's so easy for somebody else to do the exact same thing. I started out of my living room. So if I can do it out of my living room, you know, we can expand outside the living room. I actually offer Zoom as well. So it's hybrid if anybody can join. So if somebody wants to actually sit through another meeting, they can hop on Zoom and, you know, join our meeting. Oh, nice. So that's how I'm going to reach 1,000 at a time to 1 million. Nice. But, you know, if I can build a portfolio, I think I can do this.
Yeah, you definitely can. Right? Yeah. It's just time. You know, it's just time. And what I've realized through building this out and slowly transforming who I am as a person is funny that you were saying before, like you were a dentist and then investor, and now you're starting a nonprofit. And for some reason, all these things kind of
they build on each other
together, and they all become.
I think it's like all the skill set that I've had, that it's like building block, right? It's like one skill set built onto the next.
Yeah.
So to me, it's exciting. The prospect of helping out like more parents in need is really, it makes my heart warm.
Mm-hmm. But to this point, it's okay at the stage that you're at. And this is something that I didn't realize before, is everyone wants that shortcut of, I see where I want to be and I want to be there now.
Yes.
And
the instant gratification. Yes, because we live in that society.
Not
where
only do we live in that society, but that's just a natural inclination. Like, you just want immediately to be wherever it is that you want to be. Now I have this understanding that I am so okay with not having everything I want. Like, I actually don't want it. Like, if Matthew McConaughey or somebody who I want to interview one day, like reached out to me, I'd probably say yes, but you know, like, I don't really, that's not my desire. I don't really want that, because I'm not that person yet to be interviewing him. Like, there's still so many things that I need to adapt and grow and change.
I think you can. You know? You're underestimating yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. But no, I'm humbled. I'm so humbled, because I realized that I picked up the cameras before when I was younger, had no clarity of where I was going and what I was doing. So I kind of pivoted from that and took some time off that. I started buying and reselling furniture, and then didn't realize that, like, I gained an appreciation for how people fabricated furniture and like quality stuff. And then that led to me looking at other, like, just people's creations, like how much depth and how much time they took to create something, and blocked out all the noise of like, oh, this needs to be pumped out quick for business standards or for, you know, my own, so I can move on to the next project or whatever it is. Like, people really sit there and take their time molding something. And then I had this podcast opportunity, and I was like, oh, I have the camera and I love talking to people. I'm going to put that together. Well, they were like, well, you could design the space. And then the furniture came to mind. Yeah. And I'm like, what kind of vibe do I want to have here, and what kind of environment do I want to have? And now I'm just like understanding through all those lessons how to mold my life exactly and create my life exactly how I want to.
So I always think about it as like running a marathon, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a game of endurance, like just staying in it for the long term. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the philosophy I took with dentistry, with investing. I never looked at day to day. I looked at the bigger picture, like a decade out.
So, was that early on you had that perspective?
Yeah. I mean, because I've been investing for like 20 years now, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I started out with like, you know, very small portfolio, and then I grew it, and everything just compounded on top of each other, right? And I think when you have a project or a goal, it's just about having patience and perseverance, and also some faith, right? That it's going to get there. You just have to, you know, have the endurance to stay in the game for a really long time. Like, I don't expect to build my nonprofit like overnight. You know, it's going to take time, but I feel like as long as there's traction and there's, you know, like devotion to do it, and the passion, like you definitely have to have the passion to do it, because this is pure labor of love. So, yeah.
An idea, this is something I wrote down the other day while I was driving. I thought about this. An idea is an instantaneous emotion that you want to be fulfilled immediately, but you need to understand that it may be a 10-year idea. So definitely you need to live life with the lens of years, not seconds.
So there's a Korean saying, because I'm South Korean, and my culture is still very deeply embedded, right? And I always think about some words are translated so much better in Korean than English. But my mom has always said this to me: a room that gets hot too fast will also cool down really fast. But if it's a slow burn, it will stay warmer for a long time. So that kind of makes sense, I think.
And that directly aligns with what I was praying for. Maybe a month ago, or a little under a month ago, I was praying for what I called the middle, which is just consistency. Yeah. Not too high, not too low, not too stagnant and no motivation, but not too much spark and too much flame of like ultimate motivation. Like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to crush it today. I'm going to do all these things. And I realized that through my life, I've been living in this, I'm going to be extraordinarily lazy or I'm going to be very
So
focused.
you're one
and
extreme
dialed.
to the next.
Yeah. And there is no consistency there. And that's not where joy and progress and happiness and anything in life, you will find yourself, if you're inconsistent in one thing, that bleeds to everything else. And it was this massive realization that I haven't looked at my marriage in a very consistent light. It doesn't from the face value, it doesn't look like it's one extreme to the next, but I feel it internally that I'm not providing a level of consistency. I'm not providing a level of consistency for my...
But it takes so much effort with that too.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been married for 21 years, so...
Yeah. And that's just one avenue. But I was looking at every avenue of my life, realizing that I've been a hot candle, like in a room, and things cool down and you just get sad and you're like, why don't things feel like they used to feel? Why do I feel empty? It's because you have these spikes in the market.
Yeah, exactly. See? The volatility,
you have volatility in your life.
Well, that's why I always tell myself that, okay, when the market runs really high, I stay humble, right? Because it's not going to be high all the time. And when it's low, you just stay in it until it goes up again. And I think that's how relationships are too with anybody, right? You have your highs in the relationships and lows, whether that's marriage or friendship, but everything takes work. Like relationships are just going to happen by being passive, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that humility of trying to find that balance of like, I don't even know what consistency looks like in that area, and that's where time comes in. And you go, I've been with my wife for what's going to be 11 years now.
Yeah,
July 4th.
It's a long time. Yeah.
It's a long time. There's a lot of fluctuations that happen and a lot of mindset shifts and a lot of economic shifts and all these things.
Course,
and you realize that time helps decide what your middle is. You know?
Well, you're always, I always feel like everyone's changing like every decade.
Yeah.
So, you and your wife, as you go through another decade of marriage, you might be looking at a very different picture too. So, because I met my husband in my 20s, like we were both really poor because we were both in professional school. Yeah. We had these huge, dreams, and now we're almost 50. So, our lives have changed a lot. We've gone through losing a child. We've even gone through bankruptcy. So, just a lot of things have happened in each decade. But I feel like it's like a callus. It just got tougher and stronger as time went on.
And a lot of these things that I used to look at, like, I just wish I was in this position, or I wish I know my potential, so I know that I should be here, is not the same perspective that I share anymore. It's that I welcome suffering in a sense. Obviously, not
because that's growth.
Personal suffering, it's growth. I welcome growth. And I know that growth comes through suffering. It's just how you perceive suffering.
Well, because when you're comfortable, are you really growing?
No.
Right?
And that's what I think that's where my anxiety came from. My 20s were such a comfortable time of my life. Like,
you were carefree,
I was carefree.
Yeah.
I pursued, but I didn't over pursue. I picked up the camera and developed businesses, but I didn't really put my heart and soul into it. And I didn't try, and I didn't risk, and I didn't do these things. So I felt very stagnant, but I always felt like I could have been doing more. And now I have that perspective of, I've done this for 10 years. I'm now 30. I went through my 20s in this comfortable phase.
Yeah.
I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want that for my life. I want to try.
Because you're wanting to grow, and growth is never straight line. It's, it's not linear. Because I ask myself, why is it that some days I feel like I'm failing so bad, right? Because I think we all have those really down days,
Yeah.
because we're not perfect, right? I mean, it's not about perfection. It's about growing and evolving, because I feel like I'm constantly changing and evolving. Sometimes I feel like some days I'm a horrible person.
Some days I'm super irritated. Some days I'm
I'm not at my best self some days. And some days I'm like, oh, wow, I'm this like awesome person. But sometimes I'm crappy, you know? So,
yeah. And it sucks too, because some days it's like your only time that you get to meet up with friends and stuff, and you're just not feeling it. And, and
exactly.
You're like, oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
But now I've as I gotten older, I also realized that I don't want to have superficial relationships anymore with people, because my time is valuable. And because of what I've gone through in my life, I want to give time to people who are meaningful to me now. Because, you know, you can't spread yourself out with everybody, right?
So is your goal from that light and that perspective, because this is something that I'm trying to work on, is navigating who shares my time, especially with having a new kid on the way.
Oh, yeah.
How I can maximize my time with the right people. It's hard to find people who are awake to just the depth of perspective that you may have, or that your journey that you're on. Like, I'm so focused, like this is a huge part of my life, taking care of my son, my new baby on the way, my wife, like trying to build out my family, trying to build out my finances, trying to build out all these things require so much effort in your brain.
But honestly, once you get that engine running, it does start to run smoothly once you start to build it. It's the building part, I think, that's really painful.
Yeah.
You know, but once you get it going, like right now, I don't really look at my portfolios that much every day to day, because I already built it and structured it. So it kind of runs on its own, you know? So we all need to like get to that point, but you know, building that structure to me is the hardest. But once you get it going, you know, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah, it reminds me of this quote in the Bible that I keep going back to. It's the seasons quote, where there's a season for life and a season for death, a season to grow.
Yep.
And in the season that I recognize that I'm in is a season for planting and a season for plucking.
Yes, and there's season to die and season to come in, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because I was like, oh, I planted this. Let's start plucking, you know?
Yeah, but you want to pluck it right away.
Yeah, you want to pluck it right away.
Yeah, but you know, like with any good fruit, it takes a while for it to come to fruition, right?
And I think that's what's so unique about reality, is that there are physical representations throughout all of reality that show you, just like farming is literally a physical representation of digging dirt out of the ground
and building that strong
planting that
root.
seed, building that root, having that structure. You know, everything has symmetry, structure. There's a proper way to do it.
Yeah.
And there's a proper amount of time it takes for things to fruit. Now, things might not always go as planned, and you yield less crop some years, you yield more crop some years.
Yes.
Like, that is life.
It's life.
It's a
like,
metaphor.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're at a different season of life, right? I mean, we all go through seasons of life where we might be more productive in one season than another. I'm just in a different season of my life where mine isn't about, you know, becoming wealthier or chasing status, and mine is more about now wanting to build community, because I'm wanting to find something deeper in my life, more depth.
That's, and ultimately that's the ultimate goal, because it's a scary thought to find more depth. Like, it's scary to say, I've tried and I built this and I went this far and people got vulnerable to me and they shared it, and I'm 50.
Yes. But the question,
you know, and that's scary. That's very scary.
I sometimes wonder if my biggest fear is myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it could get so big, then you're more visible to the public. People are going to see if you are failing or if you're succeeding, right? Because you're really putting yourself out there. So to me, sometimes my biggest obstacle, I feel, is really me.
That will always be the case.
Because the fear is always there. I could fail at this project. I could. But I would rather try than to never have tried.
And I think that's my biggest motivation with this is, I go say to do it for my son, but I never believed in really trying because I was afraid of myself. And I have videos like going back during COVID years where I was like creating like mini documentaries and stuff. And I was sitting there in front of the camera, like really analyzing why I couldn't move. And I was like, I am so afraid of myself that if I do become successful and I do believe the visions that I have in my head, come to fruition, that's scary, because I see my innate desire to be great and try to achieve greatness in just trying and just living out my thoughts, my goals, my dreams, my ideas, connecting with people, like building a community, like having people care about me and rely on me and do all these things. That is terrifying, dude. Do I want that? Or I could just be comfortable. And then you realize that you're comfortable and all you could think about is wanting more and knowing that you can do more and you can affect people. Yeah. And instead I'm just chilling on a hammock. Like, I don't want to be comfortable anymore,
Right. Because then, you might as well be dead.
Yeah.
You want to live, right?
Yeah.
And because that's why I take risks in life. I feel like I feel like you have to. Yes, I've had this great loss in my life, but I'm not going to let the loss define me. I had to move forward and keep moving because I wanted to make meaning out of my loss. And that was by creating something bigger than myself. I think that's what you're looking for too.
Yeah. And that's just something that I'm understanding now. And it came through this, which was weird because it was just an idea that I had when I was praying. This kind of took place. Everything started aligning. I started talking to people, and then through talking to people, I recognized the flaws that I had, or like the lack of action that I didn't take through taking action. And sorry, the phone is going off. It's driving me nuts. But I just realized that now all I have to do is act, and my life, God will provide the steps and the questions that have always riddled my mind. And it's just action. And I have all the motivation in the world I need. It's just my son, my family, the people I care about, and the people I want to help. Because I just look at others and I say, you look just like me.
Yeah.
Like your actions look just like mine. I was super stagnant. I am super ignorant. I didn't take the time to act and create connections and really pull meaning out of life. But I have a ton of time.
We're like layers. We're complicated, right? You're still building yourself. Like you're still building character. Like you're still growing. Like we keep stacking on top of each other, right? Like that's what I feel like. Sometimes we're like, you peel back the onion, like, you keep peeling it back until you get to that core. And I think just finding out like, who are you as a person? Once you figure out like who you are, like for me, I had to really dig deep into see who I was. Well, I'm very structured, I'm disciplined, and I like to find meaning in everything or purpose in how I live my life now. It's not just about being superficial or being the most popular person, right?
Yeah. And it's just constant challenge. Like I found that the more fearful that I am at doing something, the more I want to do it, because usually that means you're green in it and you don't have experience and you're not confident, and you can easily do something every day with absolute certainty that you know how to do, like the back of your hand.
I think, I mean, everyone should challenge themselves, right? Like I've never done a pageant. I've never walked on a catwalk, I mean, I learned how to do all these crazy turns and walking in a 6-inch heel, but I find that like I'm living life, right? I'm trying something that's totally out of my comfort zone. Yeah. But how do you grow if you never pull yourself out of your comfort zone, like you said?
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I want to give people, just simply through action. Like if they see anything that I've ever done or will ever do, it's just to try.
But I think some people are okay with the stagnant life. Like my dad, for example, like he doesn't like to travel. If he's home 24/7 and he's happy with that life, right? Yeah. It wasn't enough for me. I wanted to really fully live life, experience it. The highs and the lows, I've already experienced something that was really hard, right? And I've survived, and I don't want to live a life that is comfortable, like you say, because I could live a comfortable life.
You had said that in the text too. Like your friends were saying that. Why don't you just live a comfortable life?
They're like, why don't you just live a comfortable, like, why don't you just live a life of a social life, pretty much? But they don't understand the depth of the despair. And I think that depth of the despair is what motivated me to want to do more. It just felt shallow to me. So,
and that's wild that you say that, because all those feelings, and obviously I haven't gone through that depth, but I understand the feeling of wanting to attain something more and continuously grow and adapt and evolve and experience life. And it's hard to articulate that to people. I think that's something that I'm coming into understanding with my wife, is that she is a very comfortable person, and she grounds me in a lot of ways because I feel like I'm buzzing and vibrating with ideas and energy and emotion and all these things. And she's like, this is home. She makes me great meals, is always there to sit and converse and support, and everything is incredible. And so I think that balance is what you need.
She's your foundation.
She's the foundation.
You're the advocate, So, and it's like that in my relationship too. So I get that, because my husband is like your wife. He's very grounded, and he keeps me grounded. But I can never just be sit around and be content either, right?
Yeah,
I'm busier now that I don't work. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it not working.
Yeah.
I would definitely call
working,
it you're just moving in the direction that you're supposed to be moving in. And that's where I finally understood that it's okay to have that energy. It's okay to have that motion. It's okay to want to evolve and adapt. You definitely just need to surround yourself with people who are like the balance and like-minded. So people who want to pursue with you, go full steam with them. Have your core at home and family who can like really ground you.
Yeah.
But I wrote you a poem while I was on the airplane.
Oh, thank you.
And I was crying so hard, and thank God I had a hat on, because I was sitting there
That's funny you say you were crying on the airplane, because when I was coming back from New York a couple weeks ago, it's funny because I was sitting in the airplane. I was so glad the engine was running really loud, because I was just sobbing. The wave of grief just hit me out of nowhere. And even 8 years later, I know that I loved so deeply. And when you love so deeply in any way, like that, tears are always just going to be there.
And you just get these massive hits of like feeling, which is a beautiful thing too, because like it feels good to have that level of emotion.
Well, tears are like very cleansing, I feel like, right?
Oh yeah. I feel relieved when I'm done. But I was writing it, and as I was writing it, I like, people say they're about to die and their life flashes before their eyes. I was writing it, and I had flashes of memories of my son going through my mind, and it was so vivid and so visceral.
I think it's just unimaginable for you to imagine your life without your son.
And for a second, I saw that.
I think that that thought is unbearable even for you. You know,
I literally was sitting there like, I just had this biggest knot in my throat welling up, and I was like, just put my hat down, and I just started weeping. I was just crying. But I wanted to read it to you because
yes, I would love to hear it.
It just made me feel a certain type of way, and it really kind of spoke to me as I was on the airplane. So, let's see real quick. Okay. And I write these as a creative outlet, and it I don't know, it's just how I express myself. So I once stood on a mountain and saw the most beautiful view, so unique it was just for me. I thought in that moment I'd never leave, standing above the sea of blue and green. The feeling of the wind touching my skin was ingrained so deeply in me. Just one touch would be enough. The feeling of you is what I would see. Sorry. Yeah. Your voice, the sunlight on my skin, your smile, as soothing as the ocean breeze. The day fades and something calls your light to leave. Not every sunset is forever, but yours was infinity. Forever I chase the feeling. Forever I go. Forever I wake. Forever I know that one day the sun will rise and your light will touch my skin. the view I stood at long ago would finally be with me again. I fight every day for that view until then. So.
Wow. Thank you. That's really beautiful. Will you send that to me? Because I would like
absolutely.
to share it with my group, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really beautiful. It's so touching, you know?
Thank you. It just, I had a glimpse of what that would be like, and I would never want that.
It is an unimaginable loss because, you know, you just don't realize how deeply woven your child is in your heart, you know?
Yeah, it's, man, my sister is going through it where she's like, I don't think I want kids.
It's scary.
It's scary.
It's scary.
And it's like, I love myself and I love my growth and I love my freedom. And there is nothing that you could ever do in this life that will ever fulfill you more than having a child. So
there isn't. And my friend in my group, you know, her son committed suicide. He jumped off the bridge and going towards Happy Valley. And, you know, she told me, I'm so angry at Brian. I'm still angry at him because he didn't just kill himself. He killed me along with him.
Yeah.
And I felt like her anger wasn't unjust for her because she loved him so much. When he took his life, she felt like he took her life with him, you know?
Yeah.
And because she just loved him so much. Like we all love our children so much.
Yeah.
I could die for my child, but I can't say I could die for my parents. You see the difference?
Yeah.
You know?
It would be an absolute heartbeat. No matter what way you would tell me to go out, I wouldn't blink. I wouldn't even think. I would just do it.
You know, I sometimes look at the stars at night and I just think that we're here for so short. When you think about that, right? It's just a blink of eye that we're here.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we're gone, like, what do we want to leave behind? You know, that's what I wonder.
And just, you think in your younger days, like, why does this happen to me? And then as you get older, you realize that things happen as a chain reaction of this infinite plan of your son passed, which motivated you to help others and create this beautiful foundation and community.
Yes.
Which then branches off other people being affected by you, who then spark the motivation to help someone else, that helps someone else, that helps someone else. And you have this chain reaction where it's like, if that never happened, what would life be? How many people could be influenced? How many lives could have been changed if this didn't happen?
Right.
You know, and so I don't look at things like that anymore as why me. It's
what now?
What now? Like,
yes, I think that's a great question.
What reason is this for? And you find that reason and you act on that reason.
Because you can say like, why me? But things are never going to change with that question, right?
No, that's the wrong question to ask.
Yeah, because the outcome is always going to be the same. But to ask, what's the next step? What now? Like, how do we keep moving forward?
Yeah.
And some people don't. They numb themselves with drugs, right? Because they don't want to feel it. But they still do feel it. It's just, it's going to come later.
Yeah.
You're just postponing the inevitable. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And compounding it, because along with that, you're not facing what you need to face up front. You're postponing it. And with time, it amplifies everything, either good or bad. So if you go in the positive direction, your life is going to be amplified exponentially in a positive way.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for negative. So you have to choose what it is you want to amplify.
Well, I was speaking with one of the, friends, and, he's 71, and he called me this morning. He said, Jane, I've screwed up my entire life. I'm 71. I don't even have a car to drive. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I said, you need to give yourself grace, because one, addiction runs in your family, right? Because I do feel like that is in someone's DNA, right? But not only that, I said, you've encountered a horrific tragedy in your life. Your 3-year-old son was murdered. So, when you go through something like that, it can screw up your entire life. But I told him that 71 is still not too late to pick yourself up and keep going.
As long as you're alive, you have a chance.
Yeah. I told him, keep going, keep moving. Don't give up.
And just like we were talking about before, how you go through these different elements of business. The same thing applies for your emotional life too. He's 71. You may have reached that understanding at 30 or 35 or 25 or 20, you know, but some people it takes up to 71 for them.
30
and
years.
That's okay.
Yeah, because his son passed away 30 years ago, and he's still struggling with that, right? Because he says, I still want to use. I don't want to in my mind, but my body wants it. See, that's such a struggle, how I see that.
Well, think about this for an example. Imagine you postpone your growth and transformation into being a better person for 71 years because you are so strong and hard-headed to deny growth and change that you withhold that transformation for 30 plus years. That level of commitment of withholding should show you that if you actually committed to change, that energy is insane. So when you spin a negative attribute like I'm 71 years old, well, you are stronger than most people to deny change for that long.
Yes.
And finally you hit a breaking point. Your breaking point is much greater than most people.
Yeah.
Your stubbornness is much greater than most people. Flip that around. That level of greatness then explodes in the positive light. I
agree. Yeah. So, you know, I told him, don't give up. I said, it's not too late for you. You can still turn your life around. Yeah. So I just hope, he said it was very motivating once he talked to me.
Yeah.
He said, there's a reason why I called you this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's another thing too, is I find myself calling people more off of a thought or a memory that I have of people. Oh, I wonder what they're doing right now. You know?
I think it's the mind starts to sink when you're thinking about somebody, right? It's funny how that works out like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then opportunity comes from that, and experience comes from that, and then transformation comes from that, and all these things. So I would say to people, like, just don't be too hard on yourself, and know that if you live with disappointment and disapproval in who you are right now in this present moment, just know that that is the framework for the foundation of the next iteration of yourself.
Yes.
The next person that you can become, that then becomes your foundation. You've already lived this stagnant, comfortable life, or this addicted life, or whatever, fill in the blank. You know, you've already lived that, and you've already been that person. But now who will you become?
Yeah, I'm still excited to see what I will be in a decade.
It's crazy, huh?
Right? Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, is it's how I was saying before, the fear of knowing that you've accomplished so much, and then you go, oh, I'm 50, you know? It's like, what now? It's never ending. The game never ends.
I'm not even afraid of death, like someday growing old and dying, because I know that there's somebody waiting for me on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, I mean, I think, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Because that was beautiful.
No, I think, we covered a lot of grounds today, but I think the message is, just keep growing and, keep expanding yourself. I mean, I could always look at the world in a negative way, like there's no hope, right? But I always try to think that there is hope. There's still goodness out there. You just have to search for it. That's
wild that this conversation went in this direction. Because you always, at least for me, I'm like, how will this go? How will this transpire? It's never linear. It's never how you think. Yeah. It's always a stock market of,
and then we went from like death of a child to investing to, keep continuing to grow, right?
Yeah.
And trying to I look at the world still as a beautiful place, because there's so much ugliness, but you know what? There's still good in the world, and you just have to dig deep and find it. And that could be you. Yeah. So. Yeah. And that's, just before you came, I was talking to my sister, and she was having these crazy dreams and very dark dreams. And she was like, I'm trying to figure out what it is. So, I'm looking into it, and I'm putting a lot of focus on this darkness so I could try and understand what it is and what it's trying to tell me. And I'm like, that's the noise. That's the negative noise. You have to tune that out. Yeah. That's nothing. There should be nothing but positivity flowing through your being. It should just be focus and how can I grow? How can I help?
How can I become? What do I want to become? And all just direct that into the positive light and only focus on
We
that.
all
and
have
only
that
act.
though. I think we all have that evil voice telling us that we're failures or we can't do this or we can't do that, right? I say we give that voice a name, like Charlie, like tell Charlie to go away, right?
Yeah. Which is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And I used to do this when I was, I don't know, maybe 17, 18 years old or something. I took psychedelic mushrooms and I had this overwhelming thought that was telling me to give myself a name when I was on psychedelic mushrooms that was the greatest version of myself. And so I called it, it came to me and it was like, Zach Wild, call yourself that. So after I was done with that trip and I was living through life, when I was super happy and super engaging and conversing with people and making connections and just like felt like I was living my best life, I was like, oh, I'm Zach Wild right now. You know?
Exactly.
And so you begin to like understand at such a young age, I didn't even know what that power was giving meaning to things and associating like that's bad.
Yeah.
Give it a name, give it a physical representation, and so that you see it. You're not slipping into the matrix of it slowly consuming you over a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's oh no, I identify that as Charlie. Like that's a Charlie move right there. I'm not, I don't,
nope,
I don't
not
need to
gonna
go
deal
there.
with him.
Yeah, I'm not going to deal with that today. No, that's not me.
Yeah.
I don't go down that. I don't hang out with Charlie.
It's so hard, isn't it? It truly is a mental discipline to fight all the negative thoughts.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody battles with that.
Well, it's because it's a subconscious game. It's a shadow game.
Yeah.
It's a secret game. And you realize that like when I'm filming, it's like you're trying to engage and entice people. It's like, how do you engage and entice people? Well, you don't do it by shouting, hey, buy my stuff. You use techniques and you pull levers to fire off certain synapses in the brain that cause an attention to go from here to here.
Yeah.
And that's the only game that negative plays is you're looking this way, but I want you to look here, but I don't want you to know that you're looking here.
Yeah.
And that is a long, slow, methodical game, which is genius. But if you can use that same methodology in the positive light and go, I don't want instant gratification. I want this long, slow churning of growth and depth and understanding.
Yes.
And my focus will be on the positive always. And negative will come. But as long as I'm positive, I could recognize negativity.
Yes.
If I focus on positive always, negativity is going to snap and jump out at you like a thief in the night. You know, it's like you're going to know what not or what to look for instead of walking around aimlessly, blindly moving in whatever direction like a wave, you know. It's
I agree. It's hard, but I guess all we can do is keep trying and just not give up on it.
Yeah.